6:45, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala, read by Soundi Thavam. The President stresses the need for inclusive discussions on the 13th Constitutional Amendment. The Premier discusses issues pertaining to Aswasuma. The President is scheduled to visit China and several other countries in the near future. The Japanese Foreign Minister to visit Sri Lanka. 1/5 of the Sri Lankan population is at risk of developing a cancer. In foreign news, Niger soldiers announce coup on national TV. And in sports, Liverpool captain Jordan Henderson confirms exit in goodbye video to fans. President Ranil Wickremesinghe stressed the need for inclusive discussions on the 13th Constitutional Amendment during the all-party conference held at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. The meeting was convened with the primary aim of appraising party leaders representing Parliament about both the National Reconciliation Programme and the North and East Development Plan. The President's Media Division reported that, commenting further, President Wickremesinghe emphasised that this matter affects the entire country and should be addressed with the participation of all political parties, not just limited to the MPs of the Tamil political parties. During his address to the all-party conference, the President also highlighted that 7 out of the 9 provincial councils are situated in regions where the majority of Sinhalese people reside, mentioning the need to address the existing shortcomings of the provincial council system is to be sustained in the future. During the all-party conference, President Wickremesinghe asserted that neither he nor any of the previous presidents had the mandate to formulate laws, noting that this responsibility solely lies with Parliament. A discussion was held on the issues that have arisen during the implementation of the welfare benefit programme Aswasuma under the patronage of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena yesterday at Temple Trees. It was discussed at length regarding the issues with regard to the implementation of the criteria of elderly, disabled and kidney patients when they were considered in Aswasuma and the immediate solution of other problems that have arisen. State Minister of Foreign Affairs Taraka Balasuriya said that the best foreign policy of independent Sri Lanka is being implemented in the present era. The State Minister further noted that Sri Lanka would gain greatly in the future as a result of President Ranil Wickremesinghe's non-aligned foreign policy and his strong cooperation with all countries. He expressed these views yesterday during a press conference themed Collective Path to a Stable Country held at the Presidential Media Centre. State Minister Taraka Balasuriya further commented that some earlier governments were accused of maintaining close relationships with China, while some were accused of maintaining close ties with the West. Today, such accusations are not made due to the foreign policy of the current government and the strong foreign relationships maintained. The President is scheduled to visit China and a number of countries in the future. We should also improve our relations with regionally powerful countries. The State Minister also said that President Ranil Wickremesinghe is working closely with all countries through a non-aligned foreign policy. We have been successful in obtaining international support as a country. The current foreign policy can be called the best era of foreign relations in Sri Lanka's history. This makes it possible for the country to grow while maintaining close ties with the international community. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yoshimasa Hayashi, will arrive in the country for a 2-day official visit tomorrow. During the visit, the Japanese Foreign Minister is scheduled to have official discussions with the Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri at the ministry and pay courtesy calls on President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. The delegation will also visit one of the Japanese official development assistance sites in Sri Lanka. The Director of the National Cancer Prevention Programme, Community Dental Specialist Dr. Ishani Fernandez said that 1/5 of the Sri Lankan population is at risk of developing a cancer. Oral cancer is the most common disease among Sri Lankans. Around 5 to 10 individuals come to the National Dental Hospital in Colombo every day for oral cancer treatment. She made these comments while addressing a press conference held in Colombo yesterday. A program was held yesterday to educate the parents and the children who do not attend schools in the Mount Lavinia police area. Addressing the gathering, veteran journalist Arya Sirividanage stressed the importance of saving children from the screen addiction. The television and mobile phone addiction damages the children's education. Mr. Vitanagi assured to allocate 25,000 rupees for each student who participated at the event and who is willing to restart their school education. That concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Minister Ramesh Pathirana said the government provides a maximum support for the promotion of the small and medium-scale industrialists. The minister made these comments at a function to launch the manufacture and research processes of rubber, plastic and fibre products. The function was held in Colombo yesterday. The export income of these products in the year 2021 and 2022 have shown a considerable increase. 1 billion rupees of income was earned from rubber exports. The value-added services will be incorporated to these products with the support of the university intellectuals and students and came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight, the tally of dengue cases reported since January 2023 has surpassed the 55,000 mark, while the number of fatalities has increased to 37, according to the epidemiology unit. This indicates that Sri Lanka is not out of the woods yet as the rains continue. As of July 25th, 55,260 cases have been reported so far in 2023, with the highest number of cases being recorded from the Gampaha district and 11,973. That's in Watchlight, and on to a bulletin of world news. In the headlines, Niger soldiers announce coup on national TV. China and Russia in the first post-pandemic visits to North Korea. Irish singer Sinead O'Connor dies aged 56. Soldiers have gone on national TV in Niger and announced that they have carried out a coup. They said they had dissolved the constitution, suspended all institutions, and closed the West African country's borders. Niger President Mohamed Bazoum has been held by troops in the Presidential Guard since early on Wednesday. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken conveyed Washington's unwavering support in a call to Mr. Bazoum. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres also said he had spoken to the President and offered the UN's full support for him. Mr. Bazoum is a key Western ally in the fight against Islamist militancy in West Africa. A Russian delegation led by Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu has arrived in North Korea and was scheduled to be joined by a Chinese delegation later on Wednesday. They will attend Pyongyang celebrations of the 70th anniversary of the end of the Korean War, marked typically by massive military parades. The visits are the first of their kind to the north, since it shut its borders to try to keep out the pandemic. It is unclear if this signals a change in Pyongyang's border policies. Reclusive North Korea had sealed itself off from all trade and diplomatic ties in early 2020, even with Russia and China, its main economic and political partners. They even cut off imports of essential goods like food and medicine. Irish singer and activist Sinead O'Connor has died at the age of 56. Her family announced the news with great sadness, saying her family and friends were devastated. The cause of death has not been made public. She was best known for her single Nothing Compares to You, released in 1990, which reached number 1 and brought her worldwide fame. Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar said her music was loved around the world and her talent was unmatched. Irish President Michael D. Higgins praised O'Connor's authenticity as well as her beautiful, unique voice. Back to the headlines of the world news. Niger soldiers announce coup on national TV. China and Russia in first post-pandemic visits to North Korea. And Irish singer Sinead O'Connor dies aged 56. That concludes this bulletin of world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Vacancies for women from Desha Sri Lanka for housemaids in Kuwait, Oman and Saudi Arabia for ages 23 to 58 years. Contact number 037 7500 500.
The Hambantota International Port has increased its bunker supplies nearly 6 times more than their 2022 volumes in the current year. As of June 2023, the port completed over 500,000 metric tons of oil and gas throughput, successfully achieving the target set for the first half of the year, with MV Sorna Godavari recently unloading 31,500 metric tons of VLSFO in the port's oil jetty, the total throughput was brought up to 520,000 metric tons, surpassing the milestone set by HIP's Energy Services Department and creating a brand new one. The number was achieved through 143 vessel calls from January to June this year, as opposed to just 50 vessels that called during the corresponding period in 2022, and came to you in development news.
Vacancies for women from Shri Lanka for housekeepers, home cooks, caretakers and home nurses in Kuwait, Oman, Saudi Arabia and Singapore for ages 23 to 57 years. Salaries starting from 156,000 rupees. Interviews with foreign agents are now on. Come whether you have a passport or not. Branches, Colombo, Kurunagala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 0377 500 500.
On to sports news, Jordan Henderson has confirmed he is leaving Liverpool after 12 years before an expected move to Saudi Arabian side Al Ettifaq. The 33-year-old midfielder looks set for the Saudi Pro League in a deal worth £12 million plus add-ons. Posting on his Instagram account, Henderson said he will always be a Red until the day he dies. Henderson captained Liverpool to their first Premier League title in 30 years in 2020. Australian teenager Molly O'Callaghan has broken the women's 200-metre freestyle world record, which had stood since the performance-enhancing bodysuit era at the World Aquatics Championships. O'Callaghan, 19, clocked 1 minute 52.85 seconds, taking 0.13 seconds off Federica Pellegrini's previous record. Pellegrini wore a high-tech suit banned since 2010 in setting her time in the 2009 World Championships. That's sports news. We take a look at business news next.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dagapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The US Central Bank has raised interest rates to the highest level in 22 years as it fights to stabilize prices in the world's largest economy. The decision lifted the Federal Reserve's inflation benchmark rate to a range of 5.25% to 5.5%. It marked the 11th increase since early 2022, when the Fed started raising borrowing costs to try to cool the economy and ease price inflation. The Fed offered new firm clues as to what it might do next. That's business news, economic news up next.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dagapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news.
And now in economic news.
The Colombo Stock Exchange signed the MOU recently with the University of Ruhuna, Sri Lanka, to formalize collaborative efforts to improve financial literacy among undergraduates in Sri Lanka. The collaboration proposes to promote capital market education among undergraduates by working together on a number of mutually beneficial strategic initiatives. Accordingly, the initiative would offer practical educational training and internship opportunities for students of the Ruhuna University who are engaged in accountancy and finance, business management and economics-related degree programs with the CSE. That came to you in economic news.
Weather report.
Several spells of showers will occur in the western and Sabragama provinces and in the Kandinu, Aurelia, Gaul and Matara districts. A few showers may occur in the northwestern province. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Ampara and Batticaloa districts during the evening or night. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. Fairly strong winds of about 40 kilometers per hour can be expected at times in the western slopes of the Central Hills, the northern and north-central provinces, and in the Monaragala, Hambantota and Trincomalee districts. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The President stresses the need for inclusive discussions on the 13th Constitutional Amendment. The Premier discusses issues pertaining to Aswasuma. The President is scheduled to visit China and several other countries in the near future. The Japanese Foreign Minister to visit Sri Lanka. 1/5 of the Sri Lankan population is at risk of developing a cancer. Niger soldiers announce coup on national TV. And Liverpool captain Jordan Henderson confirms exit in goodbye video to fans. With that, we conclude this morning's news broadcast, and now it's back to your hostess, Geetanjali, to keep you well entertained this Thursday morning. A very good morning to you, Geetanjali, and it's all yours.
A very good morning to you too, Soundi, and thank you so much for bringing us the news this morning. Wishing you a wonderful Thursday ahead, and also a safe journey back home. You're with Radio Sri Lanka.